Hey, all you crazy cats out there, welcome to the Max Show. That is Massive Abundance Exposed, where we expose the badass secrets of entrepreneurs all over the world. And today I'm so excited because we have got one of the busiest guys on the planet on our show, Mr. Tim Roberts. Tim Roberts owns a number of franchises for BNI, which is a business exchange network, but also has a great website that I've been checking out called Success Through Referrals.com, which really helps realtors and entrepreneurs find referrals, different avenues of actually getting leads and getting business. So I'm really excited to talk to Tim. We're going to get started in a second, but before we do, make sure that you jump onto MassiveAbundanceInc.com, sign in and get some free goodies, and let's get started with Tim Roberts. Hey, welcome everybody to the Max Show, and we have none other than Tim Roberts in the house. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. It's our honor. I'm just so happy that you're here and you're taking the time to talk to us, because I think for entrepreneurs and Treps in general, what you're doing is so important, because all of us need the marketing, we need the contacts. And so before I ask you about your businesses, because you have, sounds like more than one, give us a little bit about your background.
So my background is, for the last decade, I've been really focused on helping small business owners, sales professionals on all different levels really grow their businesses more efficiently and effectively through the one golden word we're all looking for in referrals. I got involved in it actually when I was in my sales career and struggled for a while trying to, grow a pipeline of really qualified referrals coming in, so I wasn't doing cold calling or could do less cold calling, less lead chasing, that kind of thing, and quickly found that my passion was more in the training aspect on how word-of-mouth marketing really works. And it's transcended into the businesses I own today and the starting of the new business last year that I think we're going to talk about.
That sounds great. And so the new business is successthroughreferrals.com. But before you started that, and you currently do own a worldwide franchise that you own part of, which is BNI. Can you tell people what BNI is and why should entrepreneurs be concerned about this?
Okay, so BNI is right now the world's largest networking organization. It's in 51 countries, about 150,000 members across the world. It's also the most effective form of networking when you come to organizations. It about $3.3 billion in take-home business last year. And what makes it different is that it's only one type of networking that people should really be doing. It's not the only type, but it's structured. So it's a one person per profession per chapter type of organization, where we try to really show professionals how to build a success team around themselves of people who are committed to the same thing. So the idea is that it's a team of local business people who are all trying to become more successful and deciding, hey, you know what, we can do that better together than we could on our own. So, and it's just one form of it, but it allows you to really build the depth to the relationships that you're meeting at the other types of networking that you're doing. So I happen to have been a member when I started my sales career. That's how I got involved in that. It had a dramatic effect on my business. I started getting more involved even as a member, became an ambassador and a director, and started doing some of the trainings, and that's where I really found my passion. And now I own 3 franchises of that company for up in New England, New Hampshire, Maine, and Western Massachusetts. So.
That's great. So just for clarity, because again, Tim, our audience pretty much who's listening to this are aspiring entrepreneurs that are really trying to jumpstart their business. And BNI is essentially local chapters, local meetings where people can go and exchange information and try to get referrals. Is that correct?
Right. The idea is that you would actually join a chapter, lock out your competitors. So once you join, you're the only one who does that thing in that group. And you can kind of think of it like we call them chapters, but I really like the team aspect of it, where it's a weekly meeting. It's not a bi-weekly or once a month, which makes it different. But it's the idea of getting out there, sharing your ideas, teaching people how to find, how to actually find these referrals for you, and really collaborate together instead of just being out there on your own trying to figure out how am I going to do this. There's so much more intrinsic value that goes into it beyond the referrals, but that's really the focus of the group, is to help you grow your business through referrals. So no matter how long you've been in business, whether you're just getting started or just thinking about it, I think having a group of like-minded people around you is only going to excel your success rate.
Oh,
And that's
absolutely.
kind of what BNI is all about. So yeah, there's about 80,000 members just in the United States right
Wow.
now across every state. So no matter where you are, you can definitely find a local chapter. You can just go to bni.com is the national website that you can find chapters no matter where you are.
Great. And your BNI websites we'll actually have in the show notes so people can learn more about you and contact you. But one of the things I love what you said earlier, which is I find really intriguing because I just yesterday gave a talk to a large group of people at the San Francisco Association of Realtors. And we have a lot of realtors watching this show. And one of the things that I was talking about yesterday is that it's really important that all entrepreneurs, especially realtors, have like 5 different avenues of business, 5 different
Mhm.
marketing systems, if you will. And so BNI is one of them. And you mentioned that you started a new business, which I understand is at successthroughreferrals.com. So you're basically, you and I are talking the same language, which I absolutely love. Tell me about that.
So Success Through Referrals came about just from like I said, for the past decade, I've been working with BNI members, and one of the things, one of the strengths, one of the core values of BNI has been education, teaching our members how to use the BNI system. But what is really apparent is that every business owner out there, every sales professional out there desires more referrals, yet it's
Hmm.
the one topic that's not being trained, right?
Yeah.
You can go to business school, they're not going to train it. You can go to sales school, they're not going to train it. And unfortunately, even when people talk about referrals, they don't even really talk about referrals. They're talking about leads, right?
Right, right,
I look at leads as nothing more than a cold call with a name to blame behind it. So you're still calling somebody who doesn't know why you're calling. It's still uncomfortable. You just get to blame somebody for
right,
the reason that you're calling
right.
this person. So it's such a niche market that has a huge opportunity. So the Success Through Referrals is about teaching people how networking actually works and then how to speed up that process, how to be more effective in that process across all formats. So
Hmm.
BNI is very good at teaching people how to use BNI systems, but it's not the only type of networking. You have social networking, you have service organizations, you have online, you have all these your
This is
professional
good.
organizations like the real estate associations, all providing you different opportunities and
Hmm.
different structure that nobody's teaching people how to use until now.
I love this. This is amazing. So, if people went to successthroughreferrals.com, what specifically do you want people to do, and how would they use the website?
So right now there's a couple options on the website. You can get on there and just even if you just want to get some free stuff, there's a blog that I'm writing on there that they can read on.
Hmm.
There's also 10 free videos right now for the top 10 mistakes people make when networking.
Okay.
That you can just put your email in and we'll email you one for 10 days just to kind of get some basic education on there.
Hmm.
There's a basic membership on there to gain access to more training videos that are very just kind of broad. They're
Hmm.
about 10 minutes or less that you can gain access to, about 50 videos on there right now.
Hmm.
And then later this summer, we're actually going to be rolling out what I'm calling the Master's Program, which is actually going to be a step-by-step training program on how to actually make word-of-mouth marketing a true form of marketing in your business. So from goal setting to figuring out how many referrals do you need,
Hmm.
to more on how networking works, and then how to utilize all the different types of networking out there. So it's going to be an actual training program that people will go through.
That sounds amazing. I mean, it sounds like you're speaking directly to realtors right now because I know they
That's
need
a big
exactly
market.
that.
Yeah, it's absolutely a huge market. Again, that people join and they go through great training on how to sell and how to uncover needs with a customer.
Uh-huh.
But again, people aren't teaching them really how to effectively get the customers coming in. So it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, it doesn't matter how well you sell if
Hmm.
you got nobody to talk to.
Right.
So this is about building quality referrals to
Touche.
make, again, more fun in your business.
Hmm.
And the beauty of Success Through Referrals, in my opinion, is it's very cost effective. It's cheaper than paying somebody to come and do a training for you one time.
Hmm.
It's training on your own time. You can go online and watch these videos whenever. You don't have to go on somebody else's schedule to go to a training. You can be doing it at night. You can be doing it in the morning. And you have 24/7 access to it, which means you can watch a video, implement it, and then if you got questions, go back and watch the video again to really master it.
Hmm.
So
I find this so interesting. I mean, this is so cool because, I advise so many realtors and so many entrepreneurs currently, and I can't figure out why is it that we can't ask people for referrals. What do you think the biggest problem is that people have actually asking that question? Do you know anybody who wants to sell a home? Do you know anybody that blah blah blah?
Well, there's a couple things on that. Number one, I think the act of asking for referrals is uncomfortable, and really is uncomfortable on both sides, right? So one of the big sales things is don't forget to ask for referrals right as soon as you make the sale. Well, unfortunately, in most cases, it's going to hurt the relationship. That's really what I'm trying to teach people is that referrals take time. It comes from developing the right relationship and then teaching people really how to find you those referrals instead of asking them for them. Teach people how to really pick up on the opportunity for you to bring you up instead of saying, well, who do you know? Because the answer immediately to that is, well, I don't know anybody.
So you're saying that you don't have to ask? I mean, is that what you're...
That's the idea. The idea is to really create relationships where people are trained, where the relationship's at a level where they're willing to. And that's, unfortunately, a lot of the times we don't develop them further enough, even with customers. Just because somebody did business with us doesn't mean they're really willing to pass us referrals yet because... And I guess maybe I have to clear that. When I talk about referrals, it's high-quality referrals. So you're being referred to somebody who's in the market for your service. They know they're in the market for your service, and they're expecting your call. So if you're asking for referrals at the end of a sales call, it doesn't quite meet that because the person you're calling is not expecting your call even yet to really meet that. So I want to teach people how to build relationships around you, build a network around you where people are prepared or are willing to find you referrals, meaning your relationships at the right level, and prepared to do so you're not asking for them. So case in point, we say, oh, who do you know that's buying a house? I'll use the real estate example. I use it a lot in my master's program that we're creating now because it's a very popular thing. There are key words that you can't be using. Number one is, for realtors, they often go around, well, who do you know that wants to sell their house?
Right.
Well, unfortunately, most of the times when I know somebody wants to sell their house, it's because there's a for sale sign in the yard, right? So like it's too late at that point for me to pass you a referral to somebody I know wants to sell their house. You have to teach me how to pick up on things that people are doing before they sell their house. That would tell me that, hey, this person might be thinking of selling their house, so I can then make the introduction before that. The other keywords, whenever you go networking, if you're asking for anybody, somebody, anyone, or someone, you will get nobody and no one. And I think that's important for people to realize. Because when you go networking, you say, a good referral for me is anyone who wants to sell a house. You're literally asking the person you're speaking with to go out and prospect business for you this week or this month. And they're just not going to do that. So you really just have to, networking's about building awareness. There's two phases I talk about in the referral cycle that I created for the master's program. First phase is awareness. Like I need to be aware that you exist. I need to know you. I need to see you often, and in a positive way, right? I'm aware of a lot of businesses that are out there I would never pass a referral to, so it's got to be a positive thing. And then confidence. I need to have a certain level of confidence in you before I'll ever be willing to pass you a referral. So it's building that relationship and then teaching people how to pick up on referral opportunities for you as they're going in their day-to-day.
I absolutely love this, but let me just play devil's advocate for a second. You've got a brand new realtor, brand new entrepreneur that says to themselves, well, Tim, this all sounds fine and great, but this sounds like this is going to take a lot of time. I need referrals now. What's your response?
It does take time, number one, to get really true quality referrals because it's all based on a relationship. We have to realize that if somebody really is going to pass us a referral to their friends, their family members, their customer and clients, that it means that you have a relationship where they're willing to risk their reputation. And you just have to realize that because people aren't comfortable passing referrals right now. That's why I said if you ask for them too early, you're more likely to damage your relationship with somebody than ever improve on it. So you're really you're actually hurting your pipeline of referrals down the line than you are to create anything. With clients and that kind of stuff, when you're meeting with them, I wouldn't say, all right, who do you know? I would do some exercises with them to teach them what to be looking for. And you can get quick results if you do it the right way. So if you describe people that you're looking to work with instead of saying, all right, who do you know that wants to sell their house now? Or who do you know that's renting, right? You're just people, their guard goes up. They feel like you're pressuring. And if you're pressuring me for the referral, you're going to pressure my friend to sell the house or buy the house, and I don't want that. So it just comes across wrong. But if you can teach them, hey, let me just tell you a few people that I really like to work with. So if you ever meet anybody or if you ever think anybody, I would love to make an introduction. And then describe your perfect referral. If you see any of your friends really complaining about their landlords and they're renting, a lot of people don't know that right now they can really be buying a house. And if you hear anybody complaining, what I'd love you to say is this. Or if you know anybody right now, when you go to their house and it really seems cluttered,
Mm-hmm.
you know, here's what you can say to them. And you just give them these examples that you're not saying, give me people now,
Right.
but you're giving them the triggers that when they go to somebody's house and all of a sudden it's a mess, they're going to go, hey, you know, so-and-so just told me to really be looking for this.
Right. Right.
This is a good referral. So you're
That's a
teaching them
genius way of actually just
how to do it.
describing your ideal client to your friends and colleagues, and it just sort of brings it up in their mind in a non-threatening way is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, and what happens is when you take that approach, see, when you go, okay, what I'd like to do right now, when I was in sales, I did insurance. They said, what you should do is tell your clients that the way you pay me is through referrals. So let's go through people. What a turnoff it was for people. They were like, as soon as I said that, you could see their face just change emotion,
Right.
and that their guard was up, and they're like, all right, this is enough. And which only really affects further sales with these people, too. I mean, you really destroy a relationship doing that. But if you start telling them in that subtle approach, they start thinking of people right away.
Right.
They really start thinking about, hey, you know what? I was just at my friend's house and they were complaining about that. That might be a good referral for you. And you're like, great, give them a call and you teach them how to set it up. Instead of just putting them on the defense right away, you get their mentality going. And it comes down to the psychology of sales, in my opinion, that nobody really talks about, which is we love to buy things. We hate to be sold anything. So even in referrals, if I feel like you're pressuring me or selling me or trying to sell my friends, I immediately will shut down, just like I do when a commercial comes on TV. Like you know, we don't watch commercials unless it's the Super Bowl. We shut down. We think of why we don't need a product and service. But if you sell through them, they self-qualify themselves and others very easily. So,
Tim, this is brilliant. I mean, you've taught me this is invaluable. I'm looking forward to going through your master's training.
yeah, I'm excited to be rolling. It's been a lot of work. It's been over a year in progress, but we're excited to be out later this summer. And I guess it's not this sexy, you know, topic. Everybody likes sales. Nobody really likes to talk about, but it's the one area that we know every business owner wants more referrals.
We all need it.
But nobody's really teaching it in a convenient way, an easy way.
Right. That's amazing. So successthroughreferrals.com. Absolutely everybody get to that website, sign up, and be on the lookout for the master training. Later this summer, you said?
Yep, it should be. We're in the final stages right now. It's going to consist of probably close to about 40 videos just in the program itself. So it's going to be hours of training that they can take on their own time. If they go to our Facebook page, they'll see the updates as it's coming. There's also put all our blogs and everything on there as well, so they'll be able to see it.
Now, you know, one of the things that I do, Tim, just to sort of switch gears a little bit, is I talk and train realtors and entrepreneurs really a holistic approach to marketing, ramping up your business, being healthy. That's got to be a huge component of that. When I was doing some research about you, I found, because I'm just amazed at all the stuff that you have going on, Tim. It just blows my mind. And when I was doing some research about you, I found that you, like myself, are an early riser. And one question I have for you: how do you get it all done? What are your secrets?
Time management's definitely key. I find that I get up early because I find I get more done then, right? There's less distractions, there's less things popping up.
Yep.
So I like to get up early, and then, you know, I'm a big believer that the most successful people in the world get more done before breakfast than most people do in a day, and there's a reason for that. It's not that they work faster, it's just a more convenient time. So I find that my mind's at a better state than that. I read a lot about, like, willpower, right? That our willpower is the strongest in the morning, so we're more likely to get the things we don't really want to do done early than if we wait all day, we'll talk ourselves out of it. So it's just a matter, and it's the sacrifice of it. I think if you're looking to build success, you have to be willing to make some sacrifices. And I don't want to, I have a daughter who's turning 2 July 1st. We have another baby on the way. I don't want to sacrifice my time with them. So that means I'm going to sacrifice, you know, that extra hour of sleep or 2 hours of sleep to get stuff done so that I can be home and play with them and spend my weekends with them.
That's brilliant.
I just, you know, you just have to be willing to make a sacrifice somewhere. So mine's sleep.
I love it. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, what time do you get up?
Typically about 5 to 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Sometimes earlier if I have a big project that I got to get done, I'll get up earlier.
Okay, I'm about the same time. So that's great.
And it just means, you know, if you're going to go to bed a little bit earlier, that's fine too. You do what you have to do in that sense. But I'm a big believer. I've watched a lot of motivational videos, and one that hit me was on YouTube when I was watching the guy who was talking about sleep, that the fact that more people value sleep than they do success. Like, they would rather sleep those 2 hours than have the level of success they desire. And it's the same thing in any level, I think, you talk about success, and including referrals. Like every business owner wants more referrals. It's the successful ones who are willing to make those happen, willing to create it, willing to learn how to create them. Just because you want them doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
it's
love
just
it.
like,
So now I have somebody else I can call at 5 a.m. local
that's
time.
right. Send me an email. I'll be ready.
All right, that sounds great, Tim. I wanted to ask you, one of the things that I really try to talk to people about is failures because, if you're not failing, that means that you're not trying. And a lot of successful entrepreneurs are really afraid to sort of take that next step, or they sort of know intuitively what they need to do, but they're afraid to take that step because they're afraid of failure. And you are a super successful guy. And what I want to ask you is about a little bit about is there one failure that really comes to your mind where you say, "Oh my God, I really screwed this up," and how did you learn from it?
Just one? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one of my things that I talk a lot about with all my networking training is my end results. When I was in sales, I was getting a lot of referrals a week, but I failed my sales career in terms of selling insurance was about 4 years long. And when I left, I was getting about 5 referrals a week. That was as a 24-year-old selling life insurance. So that's why when I teach, I think anybody can do. However, my first year and a half was a complete struggle. I got nothing. I was failing every single day because, again, I wasn't myself knowing how to do these things. That's where my passion really comes from, is watching family and my parents struggle with their small business and nobody teaching them how to do it, doing it myself for a year and nobody teaching me how to do it. So that's my passion, is now helping people who, miss those walls that we ran into. So that was one thing, just in general. But biggest failure story is when I lost a 6-figure commission case, all because I didn't understand how personality traits really work. So there's a ton of different training opportunities for people out there, disc profiles, they call them a million different things. But when I was in my sales career, I had a huge case that we were working on with somebody that was in, investments and insurances and annuities and all kinds of things. Spent months and months working on it, presenting our information, fact gathering, all that stuff. And in the end, we found out that he went and did everything we recommended he should do, but with a different company whose products were actually rated far less than ours. So it wasn't that he saved any money or anything like that. And I never really understood it for a while. I was really just dumbfounded about why would this happen? Why would he go with a lesser rated product and do everything we did, and we wasted all this time, and I was really upset about it. Until about a year later, when I took a course on personality traits and realized that I did it all wrong. One of the things that, we're taught the golden rule, which is do unto others as you would want. But there in business, there's a platinum rule, which is do unto others the way they want it done. So what happened was, this is in real estate big time too, as much as it is in insurance or anything else. I would bet that any realtor listening to this right now, or any entrepreneur, if they really looked at it, that most of their clients are just like them, or a lot like them personality-wise, because we tend to attract people like us, and we turn away others. So unless you're willing to turn away 50 to 75% of the marketplace and only work with those who are like you really need to learn how to approach people the way they would want to be approached. And you only know that if you know how to pick up on their personality styles, which I didn't. So I presented all our information the way I'd want it, which is very much just get to the bottom line kind of numbers guy, like just tell me how this is going to work and get out. And this guy was more of caring, tell me how it's going to help my grandkids and my family and all this. So, the products made sense, everything else made sense. My approach turned him off. And I don't know who he went with like personally, but I would bet that his personality trait aligned better with that person than mine did. And that's why he made about $150,000 in commissions that I didn't. So
I love it. Great learning experience. That's truly amazing. I love the platinum. That is so cool. I love that. I mean, this has been such a great show because I'm learning so much just from you, Tim, and I think everybody is really going to be really benefiting by going to successthroughreferrals.com. You are truly amazing. But I have one last question before I let you go, and that is, you have a brand new realtor. You have a brand new entrepreneur that wants to start their own online business, or they want to start their own brick and mortar business, and they want the magic pill. They want to find out, okay, Tim, you're the super successful guy. What is it, the one or two things that I really need to master to start my business? What would you say?
So a brand new, different for each business, I think. I think the number one, if I had to narrow it down to one thing, is educate. Really
Educate?
invest time. Yeah, educate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Invest time learning from the experiences of others so that you
Right.
can speed up your process.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wish that when I was in sales, my early on in sales, I had the mentors I had later on in terms of networking or even sales in general. I think we are very good at learning how to be, uh, we invest a lot of time learning how to do our job, but we
Mm-hmm.
never really learn how to, whether it's network or sell or any of the other marketing sides of it that come to it. So I would just invest time collaborating with other
Mm-hmm.
people before you make your full investment in it. So Success Through Referrals is brand new. I've never done online business. I had never even done video trainings before. All my stuff was live, and I travel the country speaking, and that's great. But I never put it to video. So I invested hours and hours and hours learning the process of it
Mm-hmm.
before I said, okay, I'm just going to go do this. And then I bounce my idea off people that I had a lot of respect for, just in, hey, this is my idea. How would you tweak it? And got a bunch of advice on that way. And just always am learning. I invest at least an hour a day to whether it's watch a video from somebody or read a part of a book or some kind of education piece
Mm-hmm.
to speed up the learning curve. Because if you
Makes
just jump
sense.
into it, you're going to get frustrated, and most people will just give up too soon, like right before they're about to hit
Mm-hmm.
the payday. I guess if I could share one story
Mm-hmm.
that's always hit home, if anybody's ever read the book, or I don't know if you've ever read the book Think and Grow Rich
Oh, sure. Love it.
by Napoleon, there's a great story in there that I think hits on this, which is about, and I'm going to blank on the guy's name just because we're on live right now. R.U. Darby, he was a life insurance sales guy, one of
Mm-hmm.
the most successful ones. But the story is back when he was a kid. It was during the gold rush,
Mm-hmm.
and his uncle. Everybody was going out and buying prospects of land, right, to dig for gold. So his uncle recruited him and his uncle raised a bunch of money, and they went out and they started digging for gold. And they hit a pipeline of gold. So they hit it, and they were bringing a bunch out. So they got more investors. They got really excited.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kept digging, and they stopped finding gold, and they just kept digging, and they kept digging, and they kept digging, and they kept digging, and they kept digging, finding nothing, so they just quit. They sold the land, they sold all the equipment for pennies on the dollar to
Mm-hmm.
another guy who was in like the trash business or something, but was interested in this,
Mm-hmm.
sold it to him.
Mm-hmm.
This guy went out and then hired experts. Basically, what I'm saying, just collaborate. You don't have to pay people all the time,
Right.
but invest in your learning. Hired engineers who taught him, yeah, well, gold pipelines run horizontally, not vertically. So if you dig this way, sideways, you should pick up what they had hit in
Mm-hmm.
3 feet. Dug 3 feet and hit the largest pipeline of gold at that time in the
Wow.
country. And it was all just from investing in learning a little bit
Mm-hmm.
before taking that leap,
Mm-hmm.
which R.U. Darby and his uncle didn't do. They hit it, and they just thought it would continue, and
Mm-hmm.
then they got frustrated and quit, and they never learned the one key thing, that pipelines run horizontally.
Right.
And had they known that, they would have been the richest people in the country. So,
I love it. Tim, that is such a great story and great advice. It's all about educating yourself and reduce your learning curve by finding other people who are super successful like Tim Roberts. Tim, this is absolutely, and I will offer to all our viewers, if you want to educate yourself, make sure you tap into Tim Roberts because I'm looking forward to this master's training. Get yourself to successthroughreferrals.com. And again, Tim, this has been an honor. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
no, it's been my pleasure, Chris. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
All right, man. We're going to keep track of you. You take care.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, was Tim Roberts so cool? I really enjoyed that interview a lot. I mean, I think the guy is just absolutely brilliant. And his approach to getting referrals from people, what he described about getting referrals and telling people about and describe what your ideal client is, as opposed to just coming right out and asking people for referrals, developing the relationship, cultivating that relationship. I just think it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm really looking forward to his master's training, which is coming out at the end of this summer. And again, make sure everybody goes through successthroughreferrals.com. Thank you so much for joining us on today's Max Show. Give us some love down below, people. Let us know what you think about Tim Roberts and what you think about the show. We're grateful that you're here today. Thank you so much. My name again is Chris Stafford, and may massive abundance be yours.